Hey guys, this is an off-shoulder cut together bishop sleeve flare dress. So here is what the patterns look like: the front, the back, and of course the lower part of it, which is the lower part of the gown. I have a detailed tutorial for the lower parts, and the link is already in the comment section. So let's head straight to drafting out the whole of these patterns. Firstly, for this design, you'll be needing your basic bodice front, your back, your sleeve, and also your lower bodice pattern. I'm using only the front because whatever you do to the front is also what you're going to be doing to the back. Okay, so I'll set all this pattern aside, leaving only the sleeve because we're working with the sleeve first before we'll start working with other patterns. Now you notice that I have my center sleeve, I have the front and the back. I'll go ahead now with my scissors and cut on the center so I can separate the front from the back. At this point, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do want to subscribe so you can get wonderful pattern drafting tutorials. Okay, so now take into consideration that this is your center sleeve. I'm going ahead to label center. Also like this video and share it to other platforms where they'll be needed. And at this point, I went ahead to start slashing and spreading my front sleeve, in quotes, front sleeve. I said slashing and spreading my front sleeve. Okay, so I didn't draw any guideline, so you can just eyeball it and cut. And I haven't done that. I'm going ahead to spread it out on this fresh pattern paper like so. So like we said before, you want to take note of the center of the sleeve. And you see what I did? I tilted it all the way to this point. This is going to help to add to the volume of the center. So if you want to have more volume, because this is actually a bishop sleeve or a puff sleeve, if you want to have more volume of this at the center of your sleeve, regardless of the fact that it's kind of a kimono sleeve, you want to do exactly what I've done now. So I haven't slashed and spreaded. I'm going ahead to cut according to the pattern that I've slashed and spreaded. And this is our new sleeve front for this very particular tutorial. The next thing we are going to do is to join this front sleeve and the basic bodice front together. Now you want to make sure that the center of your sleeve is in alignment with your shoulder tip, which is the reason why I had to turn it over. Okay, reason why I had to turn it over, because if you want to put it this way, you can see it's the armhole area and that is not proper, so you have to turn it over to that side. I went ahead to label also showing that this is the center of my front sleeve, and I went ahead also to label front. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do want to subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so you get notified when I post wonderful pattern drafting tutorials like this. Now I'm going to be adding fresh pattern paper underneath to fill up that space. Okay, then I went ahead to use my tape to hold everything down, and this is what it looks like at this point. So every other paper hanging around, I'm going ahead to cut it off so we can see clearly what we are working with. And at this point, this is what this pattern is looking like. So now you want to ignore the dots, because if you look at the screen, at the top of the screen, the very dress we are recreating is free at the top. So you want to ignore the dots, both the waist dart and the side bust dart. We aren't going to be closing any dart. It's just going to be there, meaning the front is going to be fitted, free a little. So from the center of the sleeve, to create that off-shoulder effect, I removed 1.5 inch. Now coming down to the depth of the neckline, you find out that it is not all that low. So from your basic neckline, I removed 2 inches, which is going to make it 5 altogether. Then 1.5 at the center sleeve, and I went ahead to connect the 2 points like so. You want to do exactly this same thing I did now, so you do not have an too deep, so everything comes out fine, in fact. So I'm going ahead now to mark it, and this is what my off-shoulder, round neckline looks like. I'll go ahead with my scissors now to detach this part that we would not be needing. Now somebody might be asking, why did you not contour? Why did you not, I felt like we don't really want this dress to be that hand fitted. So if you want just to be so close to your shoulder or the off shoulder part, you can as well do well to contour, but at this point I do not want it. Okay, so but if you want just to be closely fitted to your neckline, you can as well contour, especially if you're on the fat side. But if you do not contour, because of this design is a kimono, you wouldn't have anything to regret. There is nothing going to be bad about it. So remember that the front, you're going to be cutting it on fold. Now I'm going ahead to add fresh pattern papers at this very area so we can get that, that kimono curve. Now I decided to add half an inch to, make my sleeve hem more voluminous so that when we add the elastic, it's going to, be more voluminous. I added an additional half an inch. For the waistline, you don't really have to add anything. You can decide to add half inch or 1 inch. But since we are not closing up the dart, those excesses from the dart is going to help to give us the free whatever we need. So there's no need adding. Then I'm going to have to join this all the way to this point like so. Then with my scissors, I'll go ahead to cut off the excess parts of the paper that will not be needed. And at this point, this is what the front pattern looks like. Remember, you're cutting it on fold. So at this point, this is what the front pattern looks like. Let's head straight to the back. I have my back sleeve already, which we detached from the front initially when we started. So whatever you're doing to the front sleeve, the same thing we are going to be doing to the back sleeve, all right? So I went ahead to slash and spread it, and this is what the back sleeve looks like. Now we're going to get our back upper bodice, and we're going to be attaching this center sleeve of the back to the tip of the shoulder of the back like so. So this time around, we do not need to flip over because it's in alignment. The center sleeve aligns with the tip of the shoulder for the back. So I went ahead to use my sellotape to hold everything down together like so. I also added fresh pattern paper underneath so that nothing is ripping off this pattern. So now, same thing we do to the front. On the center sleeve of the back, I'm removing 1.5 inches. And for the depth of the back neckline, we're not doing much. From the basic, we're removing 1.5, meaning the total of the depth of your back neckline should be 2 inches, while that of the front is 5 inches. So I'm going ahead now to connect the points together like so. And so at this point, this is what you should be having. And then I'll go ahead now to cut this like so. Okay, and so this is what the back looks like. Now, same thing we did to the front. I'm going ahead to add fresh pattern papers underneath this very part. So I'm going ahead now to check the length of my hem, or the hem of the sleeve of the front. So whatever measurement I get, I'm going to also be checking the hem of the back sleeve. And I found that of the front is actually bigger than that of the back. So I'm going to be adding fresh pattern papers at that point to make sure that the front hem of the sleeve and the back hem of the sleeve are the same thing. So when I added the additional one that needed for the back to complete the front, I went ahead to connect the points to the waistline like so. Remember, we are not sewing up the dart, so the fullness at the dart area is enough to give us the bogusness or that very free effect we need for the upper bodice of this dress. So this is what our back pattern looks like, okay? And this is the front. Now I want to explain the stitching process, okay? So I want to explain the stitching process now. You want to stitch on your center sleeve. These are the neckline. You're cutting on fold, and for the back, you're cutting 2-piece. Please let me explain. The back, you're cutting 2-piece, so you can attach a zipper because this dress will have a zipper, okay, so that you can be able to wear it without any obstruction. You're cutting the back in 2-piece and the front on fold. Now for the sleeve area, this is what you're going to do. You have to cut out an elastic that has the same measurement of either your elbow or your upper arm. Is either your elbow, your upper arm, or below your elbow, whatever it is the length of your sleeve is. Measure it out and cut an elastic of the same measurement so that by the time you sew up this very part of the sleeve, okay, please do not stitch up that part, then you sew up this part, you're going to be using the elastic to gather in the excess of this part. All right, so you have that, gathered effect of the voluminous sleeve. So let's head straight to the back. Now, there was something I did, sorry, for the lower bodies. There was something I did at the lower bodies. Please do not do it. Remember, we did not remove the dart for the upper bodies. Now, for the lower bodies, do not remove the dart. I made a mistake of going ahead to remove the dart. Please do not remove the dart. Ignore the dart, whatever, and slash or spread your fabric, ignoring the dart, so that whenever you're sewing, it can align with what you have at the upper bodies. Please, just ignore the dart. Behave as if like there was no dart there, but there is a dart there. Okay, so I have a detailed tutorial on how to draft a full circle skirt, and I'm going to be dropping the tutorial, or the tutorial is already there in the comment section. The link tutorial is in the comment section, so you want to click that link and check how to draft a full flare skirt that you will be joining to the upper bodies of this dress. Do not forget, do not close up this dart. Please let the dart be open. When you're cutting your line, slash and spread it all the way to the top so that it can align with your upper bodies when you are sewing. All right, I hope you guys understand what I mean properly. And like I said, the detailed tutorial for a full circle skirt is already, the link is already in the comment section, so you want to click on it so you can check how to watch or sew, a full flare skirt. Actually, in that very tutorial, I had to cut and I sewed, so you want to go check it out, and it will give you more understanding for this very particular tutorial for the lower part of it. Okay, so right here now I'm slashing and spreading, and since we need the fullness more at the hemline, I went ahead to get a fresh pattern paper so I can spread out the fullness at the hemline. All right. And like I said, when you click the link in the comment section to watch that very particular tutorial, you're going to be knowing how many inches I used to spread apart to get my full circle. You're going to be knowing how many inches I used to spread apart, like in between the spreads. You want to know how many inches. Okay, that very tutorial will give you all the details you need. All right. So I'm going ahead now to cut. And having done that, this will be all you need to make this beautiful dress. Please, thanks for watching, and I would love to see if you've recreated this dress. See you in the next one. Bye.